Mr. Zahawi, can you give me your view on the exit poll result?
Well, the exit poll is a projection and it's not the final result, and I would want to see those projections turn into real results. But if the exit poll is correct, then I think it is a message to politicians in this country that democracy does matter to the British people. I've been saying that. I said it at your hustings, the Stratford Herald hustings, the brilliant hustings, in fact, that you held. I said actually democracy relies on the consent not of the winner but of the loser, and if the loser doesn't consent, then you drive a coach and horses through the democratic process. And I think the British people tonight have, if the exit predictions are correct, have given a mandate to the Conservative Party and the Conservative government under Boris Johnson to deliver Brexit by January of 2020, and then to have a really comprehensive free trade deal with the EU by December of 2020, and then really focus on all the issues that came up in the hustings that you held, an investment in our NHS, in building those 40 hospitals, in upgrading 20 hospitals, 50,000 nurses, of which 31,000 will be new recruits, 19,000 will be nurses that are, nurses that we need to hold on to by making that investment. 50 million GP appointments, all the things. Our schools, 14 billion into education. Our security, 20,000 more police officers. Getting up to I think 1,100 in Warwickshire police force, the highest number it's ever been. All the things that people care about, we can focus on immediately. And you've seen the reaction tonight of the pound. The pound is up 3%. I said at your hustings that there's a wall of money, and I think one of the questions came through that there was a banking report saying there's about $150 billion of identified investments that have been held back because of the dither and the delay of Parliament, 3.5 years without delivering Brexit. We can now focus on that, deliver that. But most importantly is bring our country back together, bring the people of Stratford back together under one nation so that we deliver for the whole country. And if I am returned as the Member of Parliament tonight, our declaration will be in maybe an hour or so, then I will promise that I will work for each and every constituent in Stratford-upon-Avon. I want to thank them if they have voted for me, but I want to thank them if they've voted, because this democracy is a beautiful thing. It's a fragile thing, and we really have to protect it.
Could you give me your view on how you think this campaign's been fought? Do you think it's been respectful, or do you think there's been some nasty elements to it?
Well, I think there's been a lot of emotion. There's a lot of pent-up anger, which worries me about our politics. But I think that's been a product of the lack of progress on the referendum of 2016, where people voted. It was acrimonious. It divided friendships, divided households in some ways, but we had a result. Yet Parliament shamefully failed to deliver on that. And so much of our politics, I think, has been shaped by that disappointment of the people. And I think this election campaign has at times descended into a place that I feel uncomfortable with, certainly. And I hope that after tonight, this result, if it is if we wake up tomorrow morning and the numbers are what the exit polls suggest they are, then we can come together, bring the nation back together and deliver on the promises that we made in our manifesto, so we bring back that trust in our democracy.
What do you think the defining moment of this campaign has been?
Well, I think it was the Super Saturday. If you recall, I said this at your hustings. I was the minister on the Friday tasked with contacting businesses across all sectors of the UK economy to talk to them about the deal that Boris had just brought back, and then we were bringing it back to Parliament on the Saturday to try and get it over the line. And I think the disappointment of the nation when they saw their Parliament, majority of parliamentarians in that Parliament had promised them in 2016 and again in 2017 that they would respect the result of the referendum. Their disappointment of the nation, I think, is the defining moment. And I think if you look at the exit poll tonight, the head of Ipsos Mori, Ben Page, said the single issue that came up tonight as people were going into the polling booths and coming out again, because that's how they interview them, was Brexit and delivering Brexit. People did not want to see 2020 being another year of, at least one referendum, maybe two, under Jeremy Corbyn. They wanted to see us deliver Brexit and move on so we can invest in our public services.
And finally, Mr. Zahawi, if you are successful tonight, are you expecting to carry on in your ministerial role?
Well, that's up to the boss. It's up to Boris. He will decide the shape of his government and the shape of his cabinet, and I will serve wherever he asks me to serve. I am just delighted if the exit poll is correct, that we will have clarity in Parliament so we can finally deliver Brexit and get a really good comprehensive free trade deal with our European friends and allies, and then move on to really invest in our NHS, in our schools and in our security. I will play whatever role he asks of me. I'm just pleased for the country, and you see the reaction already on social media. People are just relieved that we can move on from this.
Thank you.